So let's just settle into our meditation posture. So if you are sitting at a chair with your feet down on the ground, have them in a parallel position and the knees in a parallel position. Otherwise, if you're sitting cross-legged on a chair or a cushion, and your knees are tight, you can put a couple of cushions underneath each knee. And have your sits bones raised maybe 2 to 4 inches. The hands are in the meditation mudra, and in this particular case, it's the right hand resting in the left with the thumbs touching. If that is not comfortable for you, you can just place your hands on your knees or wherever you've been trained previously. So imagine your shoulders are aligned with your hips. And now imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. And you can imagine you have a puppeteer above you, very gently lengthening that spine. So you can imagine your whole spine is just, all those muscles on the back of the spine are releasing and letting go, and you're getting a little bit taller. And the head now is very slightly tipped forward, putting some length in the back of the neck. The eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose to a spot about 2 inches in front of you if they were open. Tip of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and the lips are slightly apart. So just bring your mind to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead, the eyes, the back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, that area around your mouth. Relax the back of the head, particularly at the base of the skull. Just let any tension there release. Relax your ears, the inner ear, the temples, the jaw, the back of the tongue. Take a nice deep breath, just relax. And release any tension in the back of the neck. Allow the shoulders to drop down, the shoulder blades, the throat, the chest, the belly, limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And bring the mind to the breath. Just noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And if you can hear any sounds in your environment, this is in your home or outside your home, just allow those sounds to be there. Try not to follow them with your mind or push them away. And just allow the sounds to very gently sort of fade into the background and bring your attention back to the breath. Now notice your thoughts. So however it is you've turned up this evening, just know that it's okay. Just accept yourself as you are. Meet yourself where you're at. And don't have any expectations about yourself, about this meditation. Just let it be. And try and put some space in between your thoughts. So imagine you're sitting on the bank of a river. And your thoughts are the water. So this is like a river of mental moments flowing on by. But rather than you being swept away or getting entangled in that water, in that river of mental moments, you're sitting on the bank, safely, dry, watching the river flow by with interest and objectivity, curiosity. This is your mind, without judgment, without criticism, without expectation. And bring the mind back to the breath. And think tonight we'll do this meditation for all the people in our life we know, our loved ones, strangers we see on the street, even the people that we're not super fond of, and for ourselves and all sentient beings. So first we think there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, don't we? So we can just as easily create positivity with our mind. So we're using this practice, it's called the Vajrasattva in the context of the 4 opponent powers. And the first of these powers is regret. Now regret is different to guilt. Guilt is like, oh, I did this thing and I'm such a bad person. Regret is more like a taking responsibility attitude. It's more of a grown-up kind of adult attitude. So we kind of feel sorry we did something, and then we think, it's enough to propel us. We'll come to the 4th opponent power, which is making a decision to not perhaps do that again. So we'll start with regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day and in this life and in all past lives. And you can think of specific actions of your body and your speech. So just bring something to mind. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. Given that we understand all about suffering, we probably don't want to invite any more into our lives. So logically it makes sense that we would pull out these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret our delusions, our attachment, anger, unhealthy desire, bitterness, grudges, insecurity, and all the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and think I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? How can I get help? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who we know has the methods that we can use to heal ourselves. So in this case, to purify ourselves. So we're not seeing this Buddha as a higher power that we want to forgive us. This is a Buddha who has these particular methods that we can use to purify. So we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. We're taking his medicine, so to speak. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. And if all of that image in front of you is a little bit complicated, just imagine white light above the crown of the head, a couple of inches, translucent and radiant, facing the same way as you. And you can also imagine, if you have a teacher, this is your guru, your lama, your trusted mentor, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud. This lotus, just like our enlightened potential, born out of our delusions, but yet untainted by them. And has this radiant, beautiful face, and his eyes are shaped like lotus petals. And they're looking at you very lovingly, kindly, and all those people of your life, without any judgment, accepting you exactly as you are right now. He has a sweet red mouth, his hair is black and held up in a top knot, his arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right, The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and there being crossed represents a union of these, which symbolizes enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom, and infinite compassion. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So there's a little section here on developing compassion. So let's just start with relying upon other beings. It's a good place to start. So think first of all the people that you have harmed, and develop in your mind a wish for them to be free from suffering, for them to not suffer. And then think of those people who have harmed you, and although a little bit more difficult, we realize that the harm they've caused you is going to manifest as suffering for them in the future. So we'll have compassion for them for this reason. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is where this is the medicine. This is the practice. So we're visualizing light and nectar, and we are also reciting this mantra. So we start by purifying the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose or a waterfall, from his heart quite strongly. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you and filling you up until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpayata Sawa Kama Satame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpayata Sawa Kama Satame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpayata Sawa Kama Satame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpayata Sawa Kama Satame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpayata Sawa Kama Satame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpayata Sawa Kama Satame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Supokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawa Siddhi Mimpayata Sawa Kama Satame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So really rejoice, delighted that any harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. So really try and believe this. And think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is a purification of the speech, and Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra again, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of the body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you can imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and carelessness and talking about other people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dino Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dino Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine there is no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. So the moment they hear your voice, the moment you open your mouth, everything, every syllable that comes out is of benefit to others, including yourself. So the next is a purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light this time from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a room and you switch on a light. That light instantly dispels the darkness in the room, doesn't it? So it's the same here. You just imagine the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, and then instantly the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness and depression and anxiety and anger and grudges and bitternesses and disappointments and jealousy, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa, Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya, Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, be so delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of your suffering and the cause of why all of us harm others, are our own delusions. It's what leads us to take action with our body and our speech, all this kind of rubbish that's in our mind. So imagine all of that is purified, it's gone, and there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of body, speech and mind. So you can just imagine light and nectar pouring into you, filling you. And if you wish, you can recite a couple of mantras each for the visualizations we've just done of the body and of the speech and of the mind. Or just imagine light and nectar pouring in, filling you, and completely eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind. It's like kind of an extra wash, getting the smell of garlic out of a jar, a glass jar. Just kind of its imprints we're getting rid of here. It's very, very subtle as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Dida Mibowa, Sutokaya Mibowa, Sipokaya Mibowa, Anarakta Mibowa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame, Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabhava Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So even the subtlest obscurations to your own enlightenment have been removed. So the next is, the fourth step is resolve. So this is a really crucial step. This is where we make a determination to not harm with our body and our speech and our mind. Our mind is our self. And so without this, we keep doing the same old things. This determination, this aspiration to not harm is like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So everything, as Rinpoche says, exists on the tip of the wish. You just want to do something and it'll happen. So a lot of the things that we have in our mind, a lot of the things that we do, a lot of the things that we say, it's just habit, and we're human. And sometimes we feel embarrassed afterwards, or we regret, or gosh, why did I say that? And we cause a problem, and oh gosh, I shouldn't have done that. So don't beat yourself up about it. Just rejoice that you've actually got a method to deal with it. And then choose something. Maybe it's your speech. Maybe you've got something going on in your mind, negative self-talk or something. So just say, I'm going to refrain from this thing for maybe 5 seconds or 5 minutes. Or I won't gossip about my neighbours for 8 hours while I'm asleep at night. So think of something that you can do that is going to be doable for you. So don't give yourself like a New Year's Eve promise. Just something between now and Monday when we meet again. And then just remembering that this determination to refrain from doing things that are harmful, it gives us courage to change. So now Vajrasattva is delighted with us. So just imagine he wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through the crown of your head. And you can think, my teacher's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And Lama Yeshe would call that union oneness. What's in his English, his Tibetan English. So next Rinpoche recommends that we meditate on the emptiness of the 3 circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level your mind understands emptiness, place it there for a little while. And we can think of all phenomena, all things as being empty, not existing from their own side. You can also think that perhaps the way things are appearing to me right now may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, O Tub Shul Chang Shin Jam Gon Galloway Tenzing Kyong Pelaway Kunzo Dog Porze Chog Sum Kuraway Leg Mon to a drum Pa Dog Sog Dulaje Gondu Jab Ten Shok. And for Lama Ursul, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request, O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Sherab, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Well, another week gone like a dream. Alexis, thank you so much for hosting. Bruce, I hope you enjoyed that. And that's great. Thank you very much, everybody. Nice to see you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Sleep well and sweet dreams. Okay, lots of love.